All right, guys, welcome back to another podcast from Southern Precision Outdoors. In today's episode, we have Mr. Larry Archer here. He is a professional precision rifle builder. He does a lot of predator rifles, Benchrest shooting guns, pretty much anything you can think of. Mr. Archer does it. Before we get started with this, I just want to let everybody know that we are giving away this month a free Leofoto tripod. I'll have it right here so you guys can see it. Always remember that all you have to do is be comment on the videos, like them, and then at the end of every month, we're going to do the giveaway, and one lucky subscriber will win that tripod. So, Mr. Archer.
Yes, sir.
Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
My name is Larry Archer. I own Archer Custom Rifles here in Swainsboro, Georgia. Been building rifles for probably, I guess, 40 years. It's just a passion of mine that I got way back when I was young. We started out shooting milk jugs filled with water, oil bottles filled with water, and all we had back then was a couple old 788 Remington rifles, just old factory guns. And it led from that to getting into the Benchrest end of it. And went to the first Benchrest match I'd ever seen up in Columbia, South Carolina. That was back in late 70s, I guess, and met a lot of really good people that were super good shooters and some good gunsmiths, and that just sort of set me on fire to get as good as I could get, and I wanted to be a competitor back then. And so a friend of mine was Dave Tulia that I met at that match. And he offered to teach me how to chamber a barrel back then, and which was, that's what got me started. I bought a little lathe and got started, and Dave taught me how to chamber barrels. And I guess the first thing I ever chambered was a 308 hunting rifle on a little Model 7 action. But it's went from that to what it is today, and it's been a learning curve all up through these years. Techniques have gotten better. Our machinery's gotten better. Everything in the industry's gotten better. Barrels, bullets, actions, scopes, everything has gotten better to what it is today. And rifles that we do today, as far as like 1,000-yard Benchrest guns, if they're not capable of shooting 2-inch groups at 1,000 yards, they won't be competitive. So it's got to be dead right to be competitive in that world. And we take that same technique, those same techniques that we use to build those Benchrest rifles, and we put into our varmint guns and all our hunting guns. Only difference is the stocks are different. The barrels are bigger, heavier with the target guns, but they're made by the same people, by the same standards. So that's kind of where we at with it now. I'm pretty much a one-man show here, and I'm really, really picky about what I do. Sometimes we run into a snag with something, but I'm always willing to go the distance to work it out. If a person has a problem, I'm going to go as far as I can go to help him work it out. So nothing's ever perfect, but sometimes you'll have a little problem, but we're going to fix it if we do. And I appreciate you coming over to do the video. I'm glad you did.
Yeah, it's always nice to learn. I don't build a whole lot of rifles myself. I'm more of the AR kind of piecing together kind of guy.
Okay.
About the gist of my bolt rifle experience is throwing an aftermarket chassis or something like that on there, but
yep.
not a rifle builder for sure.
Yep. It's a unique process. It's just a matter of being real picky and having good equipment to work with. I've got 3 lathes and a milling machine. One of my lathes is CNC. The other 2 are manual. The milling machine is manual. I mostly use it in stock work. And of course, I build my own Benchrest stocks now. I have done that now for about 3 years. And I'm working on hunting / varmint / target stock, a little bit of an all-purpose stock that I can offer to guys as far as varmint and hunting stocks in a wood, made out of wood, and it really look good. If you can see this gun behind us, it's a short range Benchrest stock that I just finished up for a guy in Texas, but it's chambered in a 30 BR. It's a little short 30 caliber cartridge, but very, very accurate. Accuracy is a lot to do with the cartridge. There's some cartridges that are just made for super being accurate. Some of the hunting stuff is very accurate for hunting stuff that may not necessarily be quite as accurate as a target gun, but we do the same exact techniques as far as chambering and putting the gun together as we do any of it.
Now, what separates just your average gunsmith from a precision rifle builder, in your personal opinion?
Well, a lot of the guys that are gunsmiths mainly do a lot of troubleshooting and fixing and repairs. And I used to do that. I used to do a lot of repairs, but I got so busy with the rifles until I had to quit doing that. Mainly now all I do is precision work, and it's all new stuff.
What skills do you think that kind of takes a lot longer with this than your general gunsmithing?
I'd say probably learning how to use precision equipment. And that you don't necessarily have to be like a tool and die maker kind of guy, but you do have to have some machining skills, and you have to be able to really work in tight tolerances and not put up with just mediocre tolerances. So that's pretty much kind of what you need to be able to do.
In your personal opinion, like I said, I'm not a precision rifle builder, but do you think an action or the barrel is the most important part of getting good accuracy?
It's a combination of several things. You got to have a good action that's really true. It's not crooked or machine crooked. That's kind of the start of it. But then the next thing you got to have is a really, really good barrel. And then of course you've got to do the good machine work on that barrel for it to shoot good. But it's a lot of little things all put together that makes it all work. It's kind of like the links of a chain. If you break one link of that chain, it's just gonna not work. So it's a combination of several things. And then once you get the rifle built, to get the utmost accuracy out of it, I highly recommend folks being able to hand load. Being able to hand load and tune the load to the gun is where you're going to get the absolute best accuracy out of it. Now, you may find a factory load that your barrel likes. That's good. Sometimes you can find one they really like, but sometimes that it may not like that factory load. But where you hand load, you can tune the load to the harmonics of the barrel. And that kind of gets into another whole deep subject, but we won't get into that right this minute. But we recommend if you got a precision rifle and you want the very best out of it, you really need a hand load.
Good info. So how many rifles do you churn out here every year?
I'd say probably 50 or 60 rifles a year. And of course I do a lot of other stuff too, like threading for suppressors and of course do some stock, a lot of stock work, but probably 50 or 60, maybe not. Some years it varied, maybe not quite that many, but it just depends on one year to the other. Now, this year's been pretty busy. It still is.
Oh, you fitting to get a whole lot busier if you got anything to do with it.
I'm told that. I had 2 guys in this morning, both ordered new rifles, and that's about the 4th new rifle order this week.
Yeah. You fitting to be real busy.
That's what I've been told.
So, out of all your years that you've been doing this, what's the craziest rifle you've built for a customer?
Oh Lord, let me think. Probably some of the big guns. I'd say probably some of the big monster calibers, I guess, is some of the wildest stuff I've done. And then we've done a lot of wildcat stuff over the years. I don't do as much of that anymore as I used to. And what that means is we take an existing case and we modify it into something that we think is going to work really good. And of course, we call that a wildcat cartridge. It doesn't really have a name or whatever unless we name it. And that's where most of the stuff came about, as far as being semi-spec recognized cartridges today started as a wildcat cartridge, like the 22 Creed. Mm-hmm. That's basically how it started.
Now 25 Creedmoor's catching on.
25 Creedmoor's catching on. All the Creedmoor stuff is doing really good. Creedmoor stuff is, I mean, they've done a really good job with that, especially with the 6.5. They did a good job with the loads to match that chambering, and those are really accurate. They're really accurate little guns.
Yeah, well, now I'm normally shooting 6mm ARC, definitely out of my AR, but 6.5 Creedmoor, it's always been tried and true for me. I think that, there's a lot of bad information and bad opinions on the internet about that cartridge, but in my personal opinion, if you're shooting the right round, I believe it's a top contender.
It is, and it's all about bullet selection. I mean, you can take a big old Magnum and put the wrong projectile in it, and it just won't do what it's supposed to do. And some of that's been the case with the 6.5. Has gotten a little bit of a bad rap, taking the wrong bullets, making the wrong bullet choice. But it's capable of killing anything you want to shoot it if you put the right bullet in it. And then, of course, there again is shot placement, and that's with anything.
Right, absolutely. I mean, you could take a 50 BMG and shoot a hog with it, and if you ain't using the right round, that bullet's going to zip right through it, and that hog's going to take off.
It's going to pencil right through it, and he's going to tear out.
That's right.
He's going to go.
All right, so we talked about you building a lot of Benchrest rifles. When it comes to that, what is some of the key information that people need to know about Benchrest shooting?
It's a little different world than the standard hunting type scenarios. It's super precision built stuff, which, like I say, we do the same techniques with our hunting rifles as we do our Benchrest guns. But Benchrest is usually done with Benchrest calibers. And there's a big difference between a Benchrest caliber that's very inherently accurate versus a big old Magnum hunting rifle. It's just a big difference in cartridge selection when you shoot Benchrest. Some of those cartridges just will shoot about anything you put in it, whereas a hunting rifle may not do that. But once we started shooting Benchrest years ago, I said, why can't we take these same techniques and put it into these hunting rifles and make them better? And that's what we've done over the years. And it's really made a difference in taking those same techniques and in the machine work with what we do to the barrels.
I know there's a lot of guys out there that's got your rifles. Like last week, I did an interview with Peyton Pinson, and he said even if he had to start from scratch right now, you're gonna get another order from him.
Peyton's a good guy. He's got one of our rifles, and he really likes it. I've seen some stuff he's done with it that's been really good. And Peyton's a good shot too.
He is that.
He is a good shot. In fact, we're supposed to go out to Mississippi and go hunting with him for too long, and I'm really looking forward to that. That'll be a fun trip. Get out of the shop for a day or two. That'll be pretty fun.
Well, if there's anybody that's going to put you on some coyotes, Mr. Pinson will.
that joker's got some good hunting places, I tell you. Of course, based off what I see he posts on Facebook, he's got some good stuff. Some good places to hunt.
So, talking about Benchrest shooting, when it comes to somebody looking to get into Benchrest shooting, how should they approach this, and what should they expect as far as like money wise and time wise? Okay,
a big mistake that people make when they want to get into Benchrest is they'll get into it just with substandard stuff, just to kind of get their feet wet, and that's usually a bad mistake because they're going to spend that money, and it's not going to be what they want. It's not going to be what they need. So if they get into Benchrest shooting, you need to go in it the right way to start with the best stocks, the best barrels, the best actions, the best everything you can put in it, and they have to be able to reload. Factory ammo just will not cut it in the Benchrest world at all. The bullets that we use, most of the bullets that we use are custom handmade bullets, and they are extremely precision. In weight, in diameter, in size, everything about it. And of course, then you got to tune it. You got to keep it tuned. But that's probably the biggest mistake folks make is they just daddle in it a little bit, and then they wind up that money is wasted. So if they will go ahead and if they want to get into it, go for it, full blast, and be done with it.
Yeah, there's an old saying: "Buy once, cry once."
Buy once, cry once. That's just it happens all the time.
So, at these Benchrest competitions, how exactly do they go down? What's the makeup of them?
Okay, there's several disciplines in bench rest. You've got group bench rest, which you're trying to shoot the tightest group you can. Most of it's 5-shot groups. And you got score, which you're trying to shoot out the 10 ring and the little X dot in the middle. And then you got your long range bench rest, which usually consists of 600 yards and 1,000 yards. And if you're shooting the long range bench rest, which is that's gotten real popular, it's all about being able to really tune your rifle and keep it that way. Because at 1,000 yards, just a little bit of inconsistency will show up major at that distance, where you got to have, when you're trying to shoot 2-inch groups or whatever at that distance, anything at all out of tune, you won't be competitive. So the long range bench rest game is, of course, you got to have good stuff, but you got to be able to learn how to load for it.
What would you say is the minimum budget for somebody looking to get into bench rest shooting?
You're probably looking at $5,000 to $7,000. That would get you a good rifle, a scope, and a good rest. You got to have a really good rest. That's providing you already a reloader. So you're looking at $5,000 to $7,000 for a good rifle and a good scope.
Now, in your personal opinion, if somebody doesn't, like myself, I've never been into reloading. I kind of wanted to dabble in it at one point, but I don't have the time nor the facilities to do it. But if somebody doesn't reload ammo, would you still consider, or, would it be a good idea for them to get into it for somebody else making their ammo?
If they've got a friend that can load, that's got the time to load for them, then you can probably get by with that. But you got to have really somebody that's got some time and some patience. But reloading is not really rocket science. It's just some process of some steps you go through, starting with brass prep, right on up through to the final cartridge. And then it gets into the tuning part of it, and that's a little bit more into that than it is but it's not any of it really rocket science. The tuning part of it's probably the most difficult process of the reloading deal, is learning how to tune the load to the harmonics of the barrel. And what you're trying to do is time the bullet when it comes out the muzzle end or the crown end of the barrel, where the barrel is at a fairly stopped position. If it's doing the sine wave thing and it's on the move, then every time the bullet comes out the end of the crown, it's going to shoot different.
Right.
So you're timing it where it's pretty much at a standstill as best you can. And then it changes some during the day as the temperature changes too.
Right.
So, but short range is not as critical as long range. Long range is really critical.
Yeah, your humidity comes into play, wind.
Yeah.
I can't remember what distance is the Earth's rotation. When does that come into play?
It really doesn't. We don't pay that much attention. With that, it does come into effect some, but we don't really think about that too much.
Gotcha. So in your personal opinion, what, as far as bench rest shooting, what is either your favorite or you think the most popular caliber is?
We'll start out with score, which is shooting for bullseye. Mm-hmm. And score shooting is done at 100, 200, and 300 yards. Of course, the target gets a little bigger as you go out. Probably the most popular caliber for that is going to be the 30 BR. It's a 6 BR cartridge necked up to 30 caliber. Very, very accurate and easy to tune, and it's easy to keep it tuned. Then when you get into the group shooting, which is what you're trying to shoot the smallest group, the little 6 PPC is going to be king of the hill with that. I mean, it's just hard to beat it.
6 PPC, I haven't heard that.
It's similar to...
Well, 6 GT, I've heard of that one.
Yeah, that's an accuracy cartridge. It's sort of similar to the 6 ARC, but a little different. The 6 ARC has the potential to really, really shoot accurate. But it's, of course, and then it's 6 millimeter caliber. When you get into the long range thing, believe it or not, we still shooting small cases with 6 millimeter bullets. It just about dominates everything. If we go from the 6 millimeter, then most of the time it's going to jump all the way up to 300 WSM. That old 300 WSM has won a bunch of matches. But majority of what you see people shoot is going to be a variation of a 6BR, which is either a standard 6BR or a modified version. And right now, most everybody's shooting the 6BR Ackley improved, and it's just winning everything. It has been for 2 or 3 years, and we've built piles of those things. In fact, I got, I don't know, 2 or 3 rifles that's broke world records with the 6BR Ackley, but those are good little guns. Of course, those guys that shoot them really know what to do with them too.
Now, would you say when it comes to, I mean, obviously you've got to be a good shot, but I mean, as far as, I mean, like you said, you've got to have a good wrist, but I mean, me, myself included, I'm not a professional shot. I kill my fair share of coyotes and hogs, and, I've been hunting all my life, but when it comes to competition shooting, I'm not sure that's something I would ever dabble in.
Well, it's fun. It'll really teach you how to, put together a real accurate scenario as far as the loads and the bullets and that kind of thing. The fact that you can shoot clay pigeons stuck up in a bank of dirt at 1,000 yards over and over and over is just absolutely, it just will hook you.
I bet.
It's fun to watch those clay pigeons splatter at that distance. I mean, that's a long ways.
That's a long poke.
That's a long ways. And the wind plays a big factor in that. And sometimes you can be shooting and hitting clay pigeons at that distance over and over and over, and the wind can change. In 15 seconds, you may be shooting 2 foot to the left or right, just that quick. So, it's got a lot of variables too. But it takes a good gun to do it.
Right. So at these competitions, I know you said the tightest group is normal. Are y'all using micrometers to measure these, or how are the point systems work?
It's all done with a micrometer. It's measured in thousandths of an inch. And it's so competitive now until it's won and lost with just a very few thousandths of an inch.
That's insane.
The groups are measured from center to center, and they have a little tool that does it, but it's actually measured from center to center of the 2 widest bullet holes. And if your rifle's not capable of shooting 2 inches or less, somebody's going to beat you out.
Yeah, that's a little group for 1,000 yards.
That's crazy. That's crazy. A really good friend of mine holds a world record group, 5-shot groups, and it was just a little over an inch. It was phenomenal, and it still holds today. Just a little over 5 shots at that distance. That's crazy.
That's tight.
That's crazy.
What, in your personal opinion, what is your favorite or most popular action?
Well, right now, and I have been for, I guess, 6 or 7 years. I got in with the guys over at Colger Actions, which is Tim Colger and his family, his sons, and all his crew over there. When they were building actions and parts for most of the major gun companies before they started making their own action. And I got in with Tim when they got started making their own action, and they're just super good people, and I've just stuck with them ever since. And I've built rifles on about all the actions you can think of. But one of the reasons that I use the Colgers is they're right here in Georgia. I can get them. If I have a problem, they want to help me with it. And their quality control is great. I've just not had a problem with them. And for the last, I don't know, ever since I started with them, I probably was one of the first guys to buy an action from them. I've pretty much stayed loyal. And I mean, that's about all I use anymore. They've got short actions, long actions, left hand, right hand. They've got about any kind of action you want to build anything out of, from a varmint gun or hunting gun to all the way up to the best target gun you want to buy.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about them. I know a couple other builders, they use those actions as well.
They're good actions, and they're really good people to work with. They've been good to me.
What about barrels? I mean, obviously you're turning blanks, but
yeah, we buy barrel blanks. I have favorites. there's a lot of good barrel companies out there that build really good barrels. And most of the gunsmiths or rifle guys like me, they usually got a favorite that they like. And that's not to say that the other barrel is not as good or whatever, but once you kind of get used to one barrel and it works and you've had really good luck with it, with the hunting guns and the target guns over a period of years, you sort of stay with it. And that's sort of the way I've been. I've build anything somebody brings me, but if it's something that I know ain't gonna work, I'll say no, I don't want to do that.
Right.
And I mean, you won't be happy, and I won't be happy.
Right. Yeah. Don't fix something that ain't broke.
No, exactly. Yeah, I've got my favorite barrels that I use, but and have been using for years.
Now, you do a lot of carbon work, or you mostly steel? Or?
I do a lot of carbon barrels for folks. Carbon barrels have a place. They definitely got a place. They're lighter weight than a regular barrel. You don't ever see one hardly. Well, I don't think I've ever seen one on a Benchrest match. But the reason why is that they won't take the heat like a steel barrel will.
Right.
But they definitely have a place. They're lightweight. I mean, they're great hunting barrels.
Mm-hmm. I think just about every one that I have is a carbon barrel besides my AR. And to be honest, I've been looking at maybe upgrading that barrel in my 6mm ARC to a carbon.
Yeah, they definitely got a place. And if you're going to shoot 15, 20 shots in a row pretty fast, that's not really the barrel you want.
Right.
But if you're a hunting guy and you shoot 1 or 2 or 3 shots or whatever, then it's fine. And I've not had any problems with them being inaccurate. They just don't seem to like to stand the heat or the fast shooting that, a steel barrel does.
Right. You're going to be putting a lot of shots down range, especially in Benchrest competitions.
Yeah, that's exactly.
That dissipating heat really matters.
That's right. Exactly.
What's your favorite trigger you normally suggest to customers?
For our hunting triggers right now and for the last long time, we've used Trigger Tech. They've got two or three different models, but Trigger Techs, when they came out, we started using those and we haven't really backed off since. We do use some Timneys along, but most of the time we use Trigger Techs. Now, in the target world, that's a totally different animal. We're using Benchrest triggers, which are down to 2 ounces, in which you certainly don't want nothing like that for hunting. They don't even have a safety on them. The bolt is the safety. I mean, you don't shut that bolt till you're ready to shoot.
Yeah, I've only had one circumstance. I had a guy, we were out shooting, and he had I think you built the gun.
Yeah, ain't no telling.
And it was a 22 Creedmoor, and we had it on a tripod, and he wanted me to shoot at 300 yards down there, and I think we had a Knockpix H50R on it, and I got on the gun and I was looking, and I had to shut the bolt, and as soon as I placed my finger on the trigger, it went off. I turned around and looked at him and I said, "What just happened?" He said, that rifle's got a 6-ounce trigger in it.
It's gone. Yeah.
And I said, "Lord," I hope you leaving the action open on this thing when you hunting. That's insane there.
Yeah, the 2-ounce triggers, believe it or not, once you shoot one a little bit, you can feel everything in that joker with the tip of your finger. You can feel every bit of it. And you can tell if it's got any catches or creep or anything, but you got to get used to it. But that's about the only way to go when you're really trying to do some precision stuff.
Right.
Is with a really light trigger. And the rest is doing the most of the work.
Yeah.
You just kind of doing the aiming and pulling, setting it off. But yeah, somebody that's not used to one, it's gone.
Yep. Yeah. I think most of my rifles I adjust down to 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds, something like that.
That's a good hunting trigger. Not much less than 2 pounds. Some people like them a little less than that. I like my triggers about 2 to 2.5 pounds on my hunting trigger. That's about where I'm at with it.
I think that's a pretty smooth trigger pull. And you also, if you're hunting, so you're out, you may bump the gun pretty hard. And, there's been horror stories over the years, accidents that's happened from, these trigger jobs and
that's right,
stuff like that. So
I used to adjust, the old Remington factory triggers back in the old days when they had really good trigger. We used to adjust them things down some, but, as time went on, their triggers got a little more funky, and I quit adjusting them jokers. If you wanted it lighter, we just put you another trigger in it. But, back in the old days when you had some good triggers back in those days, we would adjust them. But I don't do much of that anymore. The Trigger Tech triggers they're really easy to adjust. You can adjust it from the outside. It's got one screw.
Right.
Screw it in makes it a little harder. Screw it out makes it easier. And that's can't get much easier than that.
Yeah, the Ruger American rifles, the GN2 models, there's a little modification you can do to them, and I don't really want to say YouTube, but once you do the modification to it, they're actually not a bad trigger.
Yeah.
I think you can get them down to about 1.5 pounds.
Is that right? Yeah. I haven't done one.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Ruger GN2, that's in my personal opinion, for a little budget rifle, they shoot good.
For the money, it's hard to beat that little rifle.
Yeah.
They've really done a good job with that gun.
It was a huge improvement over the first generation, especially with the bolts. The Gen 1 Rugers had horrible bolt zip.
Yeah, it was. I've had a few of those that I sighted in. I sighted in a lot of rifles for folks prior to deer season, and I've done a bunch of those. And some of them were kind of a little bit ragged, but they've improved them a lot.
Yeah, I think they have too. What when it comes to, I know you have your own mill back here that you make your own wooden stocks for your Benchrest rifles. If you're doing just say a hunting gun for a customer, what do you normally suggest as far as a chassis or?
Well, there's a lot to choose from. If you want lightweight, then I say go with a carbon fiber stock, which is super light, and complement it with a carbon fiber barrel. If you don't care, now personally, I don't like a lightweight rifle for myself. I'd rather my rifle be a little heavy. It's easier to shoot if it's a little heavy because it doesn't move around quite as much.
Right.
But if you want lightweight, that's where I go. If you want medium weight, then I go with either a wood stock or a fiberglass stock. It's a little heavier than with a steel barrel. And of course, I always use stainless steel barrels. And we can coat them to any color you want or whatever. But we don't hardly ever. In fact, I don't know if I've done a chromoly barrel in the last 20 years. It's all stainless steel stuff, and it machines better than the old carbon, the old blue barrels. I'll put it that way. If they want something heavier, or if they like something heavier, then of course, we usually will go with a fiberglass barrel and or a fiberglass stock and a bigger barrel.
Right.
And of course, myself, that's the way I go. I go with a pretty heavy barrel and a fiberglass stock because I like my rifles to be pretty heavy.
I think one of my favorite rifles that I've put together it's a 22 Creedmoor, but it was a carbon fiber barrel. And it had the XLR magnesium chassis. I don't know if you've ever used it or handled any of them, but they are super lightweight.
Are they really? Yeah, I don't know if I've used one of those. I think I have, maybe one or two.
And then the MDT HNT 26.
We've done a lot of MDT stuff.
Those HNT 26 stocks. You can put a full lightweight carbon build in that chassis. You can pick that rifle up this. It's so light.
Well, we do a lot of MDT stuff. We do a lot of HS Precision stuff. In my medium weight guns, most of the time I'll use HS Precision. I like those. The lightweight stuff we use AG Composite, Peak 44, a lot of those, really, really super lightweight stuff. It just depends on what the guy wants. First thing I do is, when a guy comes in, he says, I want you to build me a rifle. First thing I say, what you gonna do with it?
Right.
What kind of hunting do you do, or what are you gonna do with it? And then he'll tell me what he's going to do with it. Then I kind of know where to go.
All right. Then you go with the budget.
Exactly.
That's the same thing with, customers. I sell a lot of good mini suppressors, and customers always ask, and that's the first thing I ask them what they're doing with it and how much you want to spend. That's where we need to go first.
There you go. You got to, there's always that budget thing in the middle of the scenario.
Yep. Everybody's pockets is built different.
Exactly. Exactly. That's just the way it is. That's usually the first thing I do is find out what he's going to do with it. And I let him, if it's a custom built gun, and I let him pick out, the stock shape, the style, the color, that kind of thing. I try to make it as custom to that guy as I can. And if he picks out something I know is not going to work, I'll say, nah, well, that's not going to work.
Right.
You know, I mean, I ain't going to try to fool him into something or let him go with something that's not going to work.
So I know you do a lot of, like you've been in the Benchrest shooting for, decades, but one thing that I wanted to bring up is rimfire competition shooting. That's gaining popularity.
It has gotten big.
Do you do any builds for rimfire or ever dabbled in it?
I have not. I've got customers that has asked me to do it, but I just have not stepped off in that yet. It's just a little different world, and I've been so busy with this other stuff till I just haven't done it. But that is growing in a hurry. The rimfire thing is sure enough getting big.
I know it's getting pretty big around here down in South Georgia where we are.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a pretty good entry point for people to get into precision shooting?
Yes and no. A rimfire, them little dudes is hard. I mean, it's super wind sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
And to build a competition rimfire gun costs you about as much as it will to build a big gun.
Right.
I mean,
I've seen guys drop thousands of dollars.
You're not going to save no money much there. And the ammo is done got crazy expensive for them little dudes. And whereas with the rimfire, you can't change the load. You can't tailor the load to the barrel. You just got to try a bunch of different bullets and find out what your gun likes the best. And then the best thing to do, once you find out what it likes, buy a pile of them.
Right.
And them little jokers are expensive, but it's a different game. It's for a lot of people. A lot of the really older guys like it. Because there's no recoil at all. But yeah, yes and no.
All right. So now that we've talked about Benchrest shooting, you're building and all that, let's talk a little bit about varmint and predator hunting.
Let's get into some fun stuff now. Yeah. Well, we got started with this varmint thing. Well, actually with you guys and Shane and Michael and that kind of thing, and which I had built varmint guns, for years, but not serious varmint guns. And so I got started with them guys, and they got me hooked on this night hunt thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's bit me pretty hard. And so I don't know how many of these rifles that I've built now, a pile of them for the guys, and most of it's been 22s and 6 Creeds.
Yep.
A few 22 250s in there, but most of it's been 22s and 6 Creeds.
22 Creedmoor is kind of, everybody's navigating to that now.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good little joker. I mean, it's smooth to shoot, it's accurate, it's flat. But yeah, that's a fun cartridge right there.
Mm-hmm.
I probably got, I don't know, 10 or 15 of them lined up right now to do.
They gave it the nickname 22 Bleedmore for a reason.
That's a bad little dude. I got a buddy that's got, will build him one, and he's going to deer hunt with it. I mean, he's shooting some heavier bullets. And honestly, I mean, he just can't wait till deer season comes in where he can shoot a deer with that thing. But he thinks it's going to be, I know it'll do the trick.
It will. I've one of my buddies that actually night hunts with me a lot. He has a 22 Creedmoor, and he has the 22 ARC and a AR platform. And I'll be honest, we do a lot of the deer permits for the farmers around. And
we do that too.
He's shooting, I believe he shoots the 80 grains out of it for quantities. And I mean, every deer he hits with it, I mean, it drops them.
It'll knock him out. It sure will. I mean, we used to shoot 223s on permits. So, it'll do the job, but that 22 Creed sure enough do the job.
It'll lay him down.
It's a bad little dude. And I enjoy building them little 22 Creeds and 6 Creeds. But they got me hooked in on this night hunting thing with these varmint calibers. And when the Creeds came out, I mean, that was probably the go-to thing, and it still is right now. Now, talking about the ARC stuff, it's real easy to build an ARC on a bolt gun. And I mean, they work good. Mm-hmm. And it's a very accurate cartridge, the 6 or the 22. I mean, you can really make them shoot tight. It's just easy to make them shoot tight. But I haven't built many of them, but on a bolt action platform. But most of it's been 22s and 6s.
Right.
But I got a 6. I started out with a 6, and I'm still running a 6. But I've been gonna put me a 22 together, but I just hadn't had time yet.
Yeah. Well, that's what I use now, 6mm arc, and I mean it does a job on anything you put it up against.
Oh yeah, little Joker does the trick.
Accurate little round.
It is very accurate. It's the nearest closest thing to the 6 PPC you're gonna get, and it's just a really accurate little cartridge.
What are you shooting out of your 6 arc?
I play around with some different stuff, depending on what I'm doing. If I'm varmint shooting or hunting, I like the 80 grain Burger varmint bullet. Burger makes a good bullet. I've just shot Burgers for years. That's kind of my go-to bullet, the 80 grain Burger. It's a hollow point varmint bullet, and it's easy to shoot. I mean, they shoot really good. And there's other bullets that shoot good too, but that's just what I do. I load all my stuff that I shoot. I don't shoot nothing factory. If I'm gonna shoot extreme long range, I'm gonna go to a heavier bullet, like a 105, because I got a higher BC. It carries further than a lighter weight bullet. It doesn't run out of gas quite as quick, and it just depends on what I'm doing. I usually wind up with 2 or 3 different loads for my gun, depending on what I'm gonna do.
I think I'm shooting the 70 grain Sierra Blitz King is what I'm running right now.
Sierra has always been one of my favorite bullets. I shoot a lot of Sierra stuff.
I'm waiting. Do you sell ammo? Do you load and sell, or?
Here's the deal. If I build you a custom rifle and you say, okay, I want it to shoot the best I can shoot, but I don't hand load. I offer, and I got a friend that helps me with this. I will break the barrel in, hand tune it, the best it's going to shoot, and load you up every how many bullets you want. And you keep your brass if you can, and bring the brass back, and we'll copy that load over. But outside of that, if it's not a custom gun that we build, I don't usually do it because I just don't have time.
That, and yeah, I mean, you want to tune it too, so
I mean,
you know what that rifle's going to do.
Yeah, I mean, if you just say, okay, just load me some bullets, you just about as well shoot factory.
Right.
That if it's not tuned to the gun, you might as well shoot factory.
Right.
Well, we're gonna tune it to the gun, and but we'll offer that. Yeah.
Now that you're into night hunting, what's your hands down favorite caliber? Is it 6 arc?
Well, right now, like I say, I'm still shooting the Creed, the 6 Creed.
6 Creed?
Yeah, it's got a little more gas tank than the Arc. I can shoot a little heavier bullet in it, or I can shoot a light one too. But right now, I'm shooting the 6. That's kind of my go-to right now. I'm going to do a 22, but I just hadn't got around to it.
Well, I was for a while. I was trying to get the fastest speed that I could.
Yeah.
And I was shooting all these lighter rounds, and I've come to find out that, that's not always the best case scenario.
I will trade accuracy for speed any day. If it ain't accurate, I don't care how fast it's going, it ain't going to suit me.
Yeah.
Speed is good. Speed kills, but if it ain't accurate, then I don't want it.
Right.
It's got to be accurate.
I had I can't remember what rifle. It was a 22 arc. Can't remember what rifle it was. Anyway, I had a guy load me some ammo, and I think the lightest 22 arc you can get is maybe 50 or 40 something grains.
I'm not sure on that one.
I had him load me, I believe it was a 43 grain or 37 grain, something like that. And we chronographed them, and it was a little over 4, I believe. And the problem was I believe it was a factory gun that I was shooting, and the twist rate wasn't right.
Yeah.
So it was doing great at about 100 yards, and all the practicing I did with it and all. And one night we were out on permits, and there was a deer out probably 200 something yards, and I shot, and at that speed that bullet shouldn't drop not even an inch maybe. And I shot, and the deer looked around, didn't hit him. I said, what's going on here? I shot 3 more times, never hit the deer. And I set up a target at 100. It was, it perfect little group. And I moved it out to about 160 yards and wasn't even hitting the target.
Oh,
so
Lord. Well,
the whole projectile was separating.
Yeah, you can overspin one, and it's best to match the bullet length and weight to the right twist rate. to get the best out of it. Now you can do a middle of the road and shoot a bunch of weight range bullets, but if you want the best out of it, you need to match the twist rate to the bullet. You want to spin it enough to stabilize it and not overspin it.
Right.
I've had some hot rod stuff that we used to wildcat over the years in mainly 22 caliber that we were overspinning it with a fast twist barrel and a lot of velocity, and about 25 yards out in front of you, you see a little gray puff of smoke. To start with, we didn't know what it was, but that bullet was just disintegrating. I mean, it would just puff apart.
Mm-hmm.
But that could have been something what you would have. I don't know, but anyway, you can't overdo it.
Yep.
And if you overspin one, it amplifies anything that's in, any imperfection in the bullet itself. Because I mean, that thing is spinning some kind of more RPMs when it comes out. But yeah, most of these varmint guns we've been doing with 8 twist. It'll handle most anything you want to shoot in it.
What's your favorite hunting rig that you've built, either for you or for a customer?
Varmint.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'm a little bit more of a traditional kind of stock guy. I don't dislike the chassis. They are great. I mean, they're easy to deal with. You don't have to have no bottom metal or nothing most of the time with them. They all kind of made in there. But I'm a little bit more of a traditional kind of stock guy. I don't know. I'm old school. So, the rifle I'm shooting right now has an HS Precision Varmint style stock on it. And I put an arc rail under the bottom of it where I can, put it in my tripod. But that's, that just fits me good. But majority of these varmint guns that we build going in chassis.
Yep.
Most every one of them going in a chassis.
I guarantee it.
Yep. And old chassis is hard to beat because you can just do so much with it.
Very versatile.
Oh, it is. It is. But I got the stuff here to alter my stock to make it do whatever I want it to do, or somebody may not have.
Right.
And when if you get the chassis stock, you got the ability to rig it any way you want to.
Mm-hmm. Now that you're into night hunting, what's your favorite optic that you've been using?
Well, I'm kind of loyal to knock picks. Knock picks is, I like knock picks, and I like the people that's involved with it. And that's not saying anything against the other stuff, because I don't have a whole lot of experience with a lot of the other stuff.
Right.
Just a little bit. But I'm shooting knock picks right now, and I kind of, I'm pretty loyal to knock pick stuff.
Yeah. Very good brand.
I mean,
great image quality.
Like I say, there's nothing against some of the other stuff, because there's some good stuff out there now. Some real good stuff out there. But that's what I got right now. I'm kind of used to it, and so that's what I'm gonna shoot for a while.
So you said you're shooting the Ace S60R?
S60R. Yep, that's what I'm shooting right now.
1280 is nice.
1280, boy, I like that 1280. I can see a gnat with that joker.
Yeah, you can count the hairs on something.
I tell you what, now, I like being able to see something. And but yeah, that's what I'm shooting right now. I didn't, before we got into this varmint hunting thing, I didn't realize that you could see stuff in the daytime with them. I thought I thought it was just a sure enough nighttime scope. You can see stuff in the daytime with that joker.
Yeah.
And that,
they work great. I mean, obviously, as the night cools off or the day cools off, and your colors adjust because everything cools down. But there's a lot of guys. I mean, they use thermals all year round. Hunting day and night.
I'm probably gonna do that this year.
They work great.
I tell you, about as much fun I had last year is just taking a thermal with me hunting in the daytime. I mean, I saw stuff I never in the world would have known it was there.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun. I mean, I won't never be without some kind of thermal wherever I'm going, whatever I'm doing.
Yeah, that's a lot of guys are starting to use them for that. I mean, you pay all that money for something, you want to use it.
You want to use it. And I'll tell you something else too that I had just got into not too long back was a suppressor. I don't ever want to be without my suppressor.
My first one, it was years and years back. It took 15 months, I think, before it got approved from the ATF.
Yeah, and crazy back then.
Now, I mean, we're seeing, everybody knows now, since the tax stamp was gone January 1st of this year, and, they've exploded in popularity. You don't have to give the government $200 more every time. But, I mean, pretty much everybody that I've sold one to, they buy one and then it becomes an addiction. They want one for every single gun they want.
For all the guns. Yep. Yeah, I got Diligent Defense, and right now, I love my suppressor. And I've got a 30 caliber, but I shoot it on everything.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't change it. I just shoot it on everything, and it's just absolutely amazing the difference it makes. I don't hunt with nothing no more without suppressor on.
No, I learned real quick when I first got into night hunting that if you're not shooting suppress, you tend to make some people angry, especially, some of these, out in the county. I mean, obviously it's out of the city limits, but it's 2:00 in the morning, everybody want to hear no rifle going off.
Big boomer, you know. Yeah, I like not having to put stuff on my ears with the suppressor. It just, I don't want to hunt without it no more.
Never. I don't think I'll ever own it. Even a bunch of my pistols have suppressors on them now.
Yep, I know what you mean. Yep. But this night hunting varmint thing, boy, it's done got fun to me. I'm enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to going out to Mississippi and having a blast. It's hunting. If we shoot something good, but I'm gonna have fun. I don't care what.
Absolutely. If you going out with Peyton, you gonna shoot something.
We're gonna have fun. I don't care what, And so I'm looking forward to that. Get out of the shop for a day or two,
Absolutely. Everybody needs a break.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun trip.
I'm about living this thing, about 24/7, especially in the last year with these varmint guns.
You better cancel vacations probably here in the next year.
That's what they say, and that it's gonna hit like a tornado. But
you might want to hire some help in here.
Boy, I tell you what, you can't really. It's hard to find somebody.
Yeah.
To do what we do, or I do here in the shop, you don't settle for, that's pretty good, I'm going to go with that. No. You're going to get it as good as it can be. God. Mm-hmm. And if you run into a snag, you just work through it. And I don't care who you are, you're going to run into a snag once in a while. Something's going to give you a little bit of a fit, something new. Maybe it don't want to feed right or whatever, but you just work through it and you make it right. Yeah. I don't care what it takes, you make it right.
Need to find you a young man that wants to do this. You teach him.
Yeah, you gotta, if you could find somebody that really wanted to do it and had the time to put into it to learn it. But things are so different now. Yep. Everybody lives in a fast world, and I don't know, it's just hard to find somebody that's really willing to learn it. And it's not rocket science, but there's a lot of stuff that you need to go through and do over and over and over a period of time to be able to be decent at it.
Right. Well, as far as, varmint predator hunting goes, that's, like you said, you just got into it, and I've been in it for, multiple years now, but when I've been in deer hunting since I was 5 years old, and ever since I got into predator hunting, like I said, we do the permits for deer and for the farmers and stuff, but ever since then, I don't think I've been deer hunting in maybe 3 years. It's going from that you'll sit in a stand for several hours waiting on the deer to come by, and you go from that to, you move to a new location every 15 to 20 minutes predator hunting, and that you got fast paced action, coyotes running in.
I like to shoot,
Yeah, it's hard to go from that back to deer hunting, in my personal opinion. It's just the excitement of it.
Yeah, if we hadn't seen something in a little while, I'm liable to shoot a rock sitting out there. I don't want to shoot something,
Well, you got to check that zero somehow.
I got to check my zero, boys. Now we got to see if this thing's on. And find me something to shoot. Let's see. Maybe a possum. I don't care.
Yeah.
But no, I don't really like to shoot stuff like that. But I do like to shoot.
Yeah, shooting is fun. But, well, guys, I'm going to have Mr. Archer's contact information in the video below. If you guys want to reach out to him to get a custom rifle built or anything that you might want to learn or any information that you need, you can reach out to him. And Mr. Larry, I greatly appreciate you doing this with us and
I enjoyed it a bunch.
Information.
I enjoyed it a bunch. We'll do it again sometimes. We'll get into maybe a reloading thing or something one day.
Absolutely.
Whatever. But yes, I always like to talk about guns and whatever. It's just my whole life. That's what I do. And it's fun. But if any of you guys have a question, call me. If I don't answer, please shoot me a text. I may be back in the machine room on the lathe, and if I'm on the lathe chamber, and I usually lay my phone down in the office where I can't hear it. But if you'll shoot me a text, I will get back in touch with you. And if you have a problem with anything that comes out of here, please call me, and I will take care of it. And good deal. Enjoy it. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Guys, we'll see you in the next one. We're going to keep these coming, and greatly appreciate all you guys for the continued support and watching these videos. It means a lot to us, and hopefully we can grow and keep bringing this content to y'all.